profiles on how long it takes for first crack to go to second crack based on the amount of beans you put in. So if you have 1 pound and you started on the 1 pound setting and you have it run until you hear first crack, when you hit the C, it's going to change the timer to be the optimal time for it to go from first to second crack. And then you just speed up the drum, right? So you hit D to speed up the drum. So once that first crack happens, it starts, you hit C, and then you hit D, speed up the drum. One other thing with this machine is it has a built-in safety timer. And what that safety timer does is, about 3/4 of the way through the roast, it'll make sure that you're not somewhere else, like walking around the house or something. And so you just have to hit start. It'll start to count down. It'll say UN. I don't know what that means. United Nations, it means something. But it starts to count down from 30. And if you don't actually hit start in that meantime, it just kills the roast. And then actually kills, the beans are unusable at that point because that's before, it's generally right before first crack will start. They know about how long it'll take the first crack in the profile. So if you don't hit that start button before, it'll just count down and stop. So again, just kind of high level, we hit 1 pound, we put a pound of beans in here, we assemble the machine, put the machine like this in here, slide that underneath, which collects the chaff, and then you hit 1A, start, and then P5 will switch it to manual mode and put the power on the highest power, 5, right? And then you're just going to wait for that countdown to happen. When the countdown happens, you hit start, and then when you hear first crack, you're going to hit C to start the timer. Right?
So is it going to crack all at once, or is it just going to, like, you're going to wait and...
It's a good question.
I mean, popcorn?
So, okay, this type of roaster, the beans will get stuck inside of here, and so you will hear 1 or 2 cracks. That are the beans that are kind of out here in the side that are getting close to the rods. And so they'll be like these, it's called outlier beans. And so when you hear that first crack, the very first bean that cracked, you might want to wait for the second one to pop. And once you hear that second one pop, you hit C because it'll start to pick up speed. And very quickly you'll start hearing it go fast. Like there'll be a lot of popping happening. And then, and when you hit C, it's going to change the timer to like until second crack starts. And if you want the coffee to be lighter roast, you would cut it off shortly before the end of it. And if you want the coffee to be like a darker roast, you let it go all the way till the timer runs out. After the timer runs out, it's going to start doing a countdown, which is a cool-off cycle. So it cools for like 15 minutes. So that's how this one works. So let me go ahead and grab some beans for this one. Let me weigh out. So who's confident enough to try this out with that information?
You give it a try.
You want to try it? Okay. Okay, so we're going to put a pound of beans in there. So this right here, these beans, talking about beans for a minute, we have a whole bunch of different here. That right there is Guatemalan, which is the base of a blend that I generally make and sell. And so I buy that in an actual burlap sack size. It's like 160 pounds, something like 150 to 160 pounds of it. So that's the most of what I have. But I wanted to add some of those other notes I was talking about in it, like the floral notes and stuff. So I got this stuff right here, which is a much higher quality Ethiopian bean that has like a very fruity flavor to it. And I mixed them together 4 parts to 1 part.
Oh.
So
I was going to ask about that.
yeah,
If you wanted to have a blend,
yeah.
would you blend after roasting or before?
That's another one of those topics people can argue about forever.
Okay.
If the beans are around the same density, and if they're about the same altitude where they were grown, and these ones are, Guatemalan Huacua Tenango is a very high mountain bean, and so is Ethiopian Yirgacheffe, which is in here. Those are close enough to where if you mix them together before you roast, for about a day or so, they'll start to develop the attributes of each other. And so they're very close, they're ready to be roasted together as a blend. But if you had beans that are very different, like say we had like a Hawaiian low altitude bean, and then the Yirgacheffe we want to do a blend, I would roast them beforehand and then mix them after roasting, right?
Right.
Because the profile is so different. Like this one's going to hit first crack at a way different time than the Hawaiian. So you have to roast them first.
How much weight loss occurs during roasting?
20 to 30%.
No, it's usually like most roasters professionally they lose between 10 to 17, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been very much like kind of eyeballing it. Like the Sana Fresco does this thing where they don't even weigh it out. They just say, fill it up to here. 2 cans of this inside there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes out, it's depending on the bean, it's slightly over 2 pounds. So.
And actually, the weight loss correlates to how dark you roast it. So
That makes
lighter
sense,
it
yeah.
is,
Just like
less-
with meat.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do the pound in here. So we get about a pound, which should probably be about a third of this. And we'll start that way. And this is that mixture of Guatemalan and Ethiopian. And you can kind of see it in the bean. Like if you want to come over here and look, you can see that the 3/4 of those beans are this kind of multicolored one.
Right behind you.
And then one of them, like this bean right here,
This is
is the Ethiopian. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So you can kind of see the difference in the two.
Yes, sir.
So there's a pound. Okay, so you're doing this one or you did it? Okay. So you're going to put this in that. You're going to work in two. Let me talk about this for a moment too. This thing right here, this roaster, I've actually burnt a couple batches of coffee. Because you see how it holds on right here? This is kind of, so you got to make sure when you get it in there, you socket this side in, that this hasn't happened. Because if the beans come out and they fall and land right here, they're going to catch on fire. And I've had it catch on fire before. So I wish there was some way to actually modify this to where it would like stay on better, but
A little better class.
yeah, but this is what you get for the entry level roaster, right? So you just want to kind of put that side in first, the square. Once you fill that socket in, you put that other side in. Yep. And then this guy goes right in here like this. And you close it up. Now you can also, there's a light you can turn on, you can kind of see in there. But you don't want to open it up because it'll really lower the temperature of the chamber, right, as you're roasting this on. So we're going to hit one, P1, hit P1. So you just do the 1A step. Starts. I hit P5 twice. Okay. There we go. So now we are roasting. It did. It's gone. So that P5 means it's on the highest temperature setting, and it's going for a pound. You can turn the light on, and you can kind of see here. You want to look to make sure that that gap hasn't opened up on this side, and beans are falling out. But essentially, right now, it's starting the process of roasting. And the next thing that's going to happen, like I said, is it's going to do that countdown. It's going to go UN 29 down through 1, and you're going to try to catch it before it stops. And then shortly after that, you're going to hear the first crack, right? So because we're in manual mode, let me take a step back and say, if we weren't using manual mode, if we had just used profile A and hit 1, it would do all the things it needs to do, except for that countdown, that "Are you here?" thing on its own. But because we're in manual mode, once it hits first crack, we're going to hit C, which is the Rosetta Stone. That's the point at which first crack to the end of the roast. They've defined it, like 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So you're going to hit C, which will start that 2 minute and 10-second countdown. You're going to speed up the drum D, and you can also turn down the temperature by changing it from P5 maybe to like P3. That way you're stretching out that first to second crack, right? You're starting to say, I want to have more sugar, I want to have more caramelized, I want to have a sweeter flavor to it. So you stretch it out by turning down the temperature. You turn it down to like P3. As you get to about a minute to the end of the roast, you heat it back up, and then you stop it when you're done. So really, it sounds like a lot. This other machine's way simpler, but it sounds like a lot. But essentially, you're stopping the countdown. You're hitting C when you hear first crack. Then you're speeding up the drum, maybe turning down the temperature, like just turning it down a little bit. And then when it gets to the roast level you want, you turn it off, and it'll cool for like 12 minutes. So. Okay, so you guys are doing. Say maybe you three are doing this one. Okay. And you guys want to come over for this one over here? Did you already start your roast?
No, it's heating up. It's got a preheat before it'll be
Good. How are you?
Okay. So maybe I can do, I'll do, do you mind if I start this one?
No,
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay, guys, which one do you guys, do you guys prefer Mexican or Costa Rican? Is the second one?
I'm not sure if I've ever had Mexican.
Let's try Mexican. I haven't tried it yet either. Okay, so this dish here, simply put, the two cans inside of here, you know? But I got this for that reason, right? So this does a countdown, and I was actually keeping track. Let me grab my journal. I was keeping track of my roast through this for a long time with the P-Mark, and I realized that, so I would say, the way I was setting the P1 manual we're doing right now, we had fire, right, because it caught on fire. And I would keep track of the time in which it got there, and then when the first crack happened, when the second crack would start, when I would turn it down, so on and so forth. But it was easier for me to use a timer because this counts stopping time instead of this counts down. So start. Start.
Then,
So wait. Yep.
and when the crack hits, you're going to press C. And then you can do
Yeah, let's just hit C for now.
Oh yeah, that's right. C and then
Yeah, so D makes the drum go faster. There's four different, when you're in
Yeah,
manual,
look
there's
away.
four
We're
different
taking back.
buttons.
We're definitely still.
One tells you temperature of exhaust. Like here, two tells you that's the temperature of exhaust. This is the temperature of intake. Right? And then, the catalyzer. So we're going to hear it first cut. Here, so that was the outlier. Now we turn second cut. So I think, let's just wait for a turn to go. You're going to want to hit C for something. I think we'll turn it.
it's starting to roll now.
Hit C. Now the breath on that. Okay, now what's going to happen? We're in the mounted stage. Right? We're looking at the names right now because we're in between first and second crack. So we could play with that, stretching it out by hitting P3 right now. Actually, let's do that. Let's go to P3. So P3 is going to get less fast. Now the rods in the back are going to start to pulsate between the on and off. So we're slowing down the cooking process.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah, it'll keep it in that stage where the bitter, where it's not becoming bitter, it's becoming sweet. It'll keep it in that stage.
Oh wow, that's really coming along.
It's acidity just the quality of the meat, or is there something other as a part of the roasting process?
It's coming soon though. I heard a couple.
This is first crack.
You want that rolling first crack.
You can see
You
the
almost always have soybeans that crack.
Well, it's right now I'm waiting for it to slow down. Stop. So now we go back up. Probably 30 seconds before. If it's going to hit second crack, we'll turn it on.
That timer is counting 2 seconds. Is that timer counting 2 seconds, right?
Yep. Because Seymour, the guy that created this, he has figured out most beans, it takes 3 minutes and 10 seconds for a pound to go in my machine on first crack second. Your first crack?
So some people will actually stop it right now. If they really like fruity flavor, floral flavors.
When it says 30
How much
seconds,
residual heat? So like if you're saying like if you stop it right now, how much more cooking actually goes
So
on?
like if we want it to be darker,
I don't,
let it go the rest of the
can't
way.
speak for this one, but on mine, they say to pull it as fast as you can. So I have a second pan over here that I'll put the beans in,
Yeah.
and this will cool it down.
Oh, okay. Use like cold water.
No, not even just air. So there's a fan,
Oh, got it.
there's a
Okay.
fan here that blows, it sucks air down and out.
Got it.
So
And the
there's
way you
pressure
guys do a whole nother
from the
batch
top.
of this, right?
So you're sucking out all the hot air.
Right.
That's
To cool it off quicker.
And
People like
basically you want to
beans
get
that
it
are quicker.
from
That one's
the
gonna
high
cool
temperature
super fast because
down
it's cooling faster.
to
What I did this one is I started to open it up at this stage.
There's people that say if you let it sit at room temperature, it's at its hottest, they'll continue to cook.
Exactly. That's like the same thing with like cooking
blow
and
them off.
stuff like
And the reason
that.
why is because
Just take it off.
because they
When
want
you
to
take it off,
stop
first
that
time you
cooking
take it off,
reaction.
it's
This
still
has a
gonna
bunch
cook
of like
because whatever the surface is on.
Yeah,
The whole thing is hot.
It's still hot.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a cooling process on that one. There probably is.
He's gonna pour his out of the machine into that other machine tray.
Wait till people ask.
Right, because you want to get it out of that heat. So we could open that, but what's gonna happen is chaff's gonna blow everywhere. Right? So anyway, so let this cool, then we're gonna take the chamber, after it's gone through the cooling cycle, we're gonna shake it off. Maybe outside, shake it,
not
and
so
over
good.
chaff. We'll bring it back in and pour it.
So you guys can,